Hi, Lana. How do
Hi,
you do?
how are you?
I am well. What the fuck? Hold on a second. God damn it.
Oh,
Um, Give me a second. I am trying to go. Okay.
my
So we're
vacuum.
live here and we are live. Are we live on Instagram? Go live. Boom. Okay. Oh, Lana, it's Tuesday night. It is 7 o'clock. It is Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. And I will tell
Black
you,
and white.
wait, say that again.
I have on black and white.
You have the black and white. That is true. And I get very excited every time I wake up on Tuesdays. I get like really excited because it's like Christmas for me. Because I'm like, why is Tuesday different than any other time during the week? I'm like, I get to talk to Lana Quest tonight. And it's an exciting time for me. She probably wakes up on Tuesday like, fuck, I got to go to work. And this is way too early.
No, that's a
I'm not
fact.
suggesting she has the same excitement, but I will say I'm excited on Tuesday because it's Lana time. Lana, how are you, ma'am?
It's good. It definitely is
Stop
good.
lying. You and I were talking before the show.
Well,
And
but it's
became
good to chat
everything
with
and everything.
people. Like I
Yeah, I'm
kind of
kidding.
do look forward to Tuesdays. I mean, because I don't have to do anything to show up. But there's only a handful of people that you can actually talk about politics with that's like
Yeah.
really following it, right?
Mhm.
And it's probably like that with a lot of us. Like there's just not, we don't have a big circle of people we can like talk to. So it's
Yeah.
good to be able to vent. It's cathartic.
Yeah, and we can still educate each other, which yeah, Baby Juggernaut, thank you. Hey, thank you for joining. As always, we love Baby Juggernaut joining in. Anybody new joining? I was on TikTok Live. I was gonna bring up to your point, Lana, that it's funny is being 53 years old and following politics, I'd say I for at least 30, close to 30 years now, is that there was a time you really had to be on your game because the people you used to talk politics with like actually knew the policies. They knew why they were voting Republican. So you
Exactly.
had to know your stuff.
Mhm.
And that to me was more challenging. It was more fun because it made you smarter. I tell you, Lana, I used to literally, the only thing I used to listen to was conservative radio, like
Mhm.
constantly. It
Yeah.
would be the only thing. And Lana has the point when she talks about the difference between Twitter and Blue Sky. Blue Sky, you can hear and see and be, amongst your people and you're just happy and everything's good. But when you're on Twitter, you can see the nonsense and the craziness that's going on.
Mhm.
But the difference now is that you're on Twitter and it's just so stupid that it makes your brain hurt. But when I used to listen to conservative radio, you would understand more of where they were coming from and you can form better either arguments against what they were saying, or you can maybe listen to one or two things and go, all right, that I can actually agree with. But those days are gone.
You want me to comment on that? I mean,
You did by laughing because that is the comment.
it's rare that you get someone who actually wants to have a conversation anymore. And I don't know what that is, right? Like an independent or whatever. But for the most part, independents sway, they don't like Trump either. So it's hard to
Right.
have a conversation with someone who is a Trump support. Like it's not. But here's the thing with Twitter too. We have to remember there are just a lot of people on there that may not even be MAGA. They're just friggin' trolls that want attention that probably didn't even vote. Like just that there's that. Then you have the bots, right? Like it's
They're
just
loaded with bots.
yeah, it's
Loaded. I mean,
yeah,
most of the, and I'll let you get back to what you're saying, but most of the conversations, some of them I see 5 followers,
right.
2 follow, and
Exactly. So you're
fuck
talking to
out
a
of
bot,
here.
right? So
Yeah.
you're literally talking to a bot. It's
Yeah.
like 5 followers and an account opened in 2012.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Or 2025.
Or 20, right,
It's right.
exactly. Exactly. So
Right.
right.
Yeah. So it is a little annoying, but I was telling Lana I just did a TikTok live. In fact, Lana joined me last week for a TikTok live for the first one. I keep encouraging her to go on there and do some of her own own lives as well. John Stone came up. I think he's going to be joining us tonight. Hopefully he's in the chat. He could say hello. We had the young man Quest that came up. Hopefully he's able to. And of course, baby Juggernaut Angel, I'm sure will appear at some point if she's not here already, and some of our other people that have come up before. But we welcome all people. Doesn't matter who you voted for. Doesn't matter what.
Diverse here. DEI. Come on.
DEI, black and white. This is full DEI. This company, the Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest, we are keeping our DEI initiatives. And the funny thing is that I'm actually the DEI guy here because she's way smarter than I am. So wait.
Definitely not true.
Yeah, that is true. So, all right, Lana, do you want to get started with this nonsense?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's start off with really, this is literally the weakest president we've ever had in our lifetime. I mean, he is very weak. He's very old. It seems to be losing his will to even be the president. I think he's just very happy that Elon Musk paid millions of dollars to keep him out of jail.
Yeah.
They got away with one. He won the presidency, and he literally, since he won, has played golf, it feels like, every single day. He's wasted taxpayer money by going to the Super Bowl and the Daytona 500. And he's spending most of his time at Mar-a-Lago and not the White House, which, again, cost taxpayers millions of dollars. So, and sitting next to him is our real president, Elon Musk, who is the one who is trying to cut out wasteful spending, but just in 4 short weeks, Donald Trump has wasted more taxpayer dollars so far than any of the real money that I've seen Elon Musk find.
Yep.
Now, according to the MAGA side, he's found trillions of dollars that are going towards gender affirming care to other countries, to Politico, to Gaza in condoms. And unfortunately for them, and unfortunately really for us, none of that is true, but whatever. And this is the nonsense that we have to deal with. Yes.
16 days of golf in the 29 days that he's been the president. 16
days of golf. And then there's another false story. By the way, if you're a MAGA and you're chomping at the bit to say Joe Biden spent 577 days on vacation. What? So where this came from, it came from last week. The Republican House came out with a report based on how many days they counted that Joe Biden took vacation days. And what they did is they counted any day that maybe half the day he wasn't at the White House. So they counted that as a vacation day. So this is all bullshit.
He went to Georgia for to check on.
He actually could have been doing work, but they counted it as a vacation day. And do you know why they do this, Lana? Because they know how to sucker people. And that's something we're going to talk about later. But first, what I want to talk about is tonight, there is going to be an interview on the Sean Hannity show with President Musk and his assistant, Donald Trump, sitting next to him, looking as weak and pathetic as he did last week when they were in the White House and Donald Trump sat behind that desk like a sedated zoo animal while fucking Elon Musk was giving a press conference to the press while his kid literally looked at Donald Trump and said, "Shut the fuck up and you're not the president. Get the fuck out of here."
Are you suggesting
or something like that?
Some type of animal injection, like a sedative for animals?
Yeah, I think that there's possibility that Elon does that because he knows that Donald Trump wants to chomp at the bit. So they might have given him some sedative. Yeah, it's possible. Or he used Starlink to get into his brain to calm him down, whatever. He used something because he knows, listen, guy, you know who the real boss is here. Just be quiet. I'll let you say something every once in a while so you can pretend like you're president. They used to do that. By the way, do you know they used to do that with his dad when his dad was getting dementia? They used to set up what looked like a real office to make his dad feel like he was really still working in the office. They would have phone calls come in and stuff like that's a true story. And it looks like they're doing the same thing with President Musk's assistant. But here's a clip that is obviously something that is orchestrated by President Musk. And this is something that he told Sean Hannity to address, and Donald Trump sat there and agreed with it, and he kind of took the reins over it, but it's really pathetic.
You have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time.
First of all, the fact that they're bringing this up, Lana, there's a concern already. The fact they're trying to cut this off so where it doesn't get out of control. And the only people they're fooling, though, are the morons who are going to be watching this. So you can say it to these idiots all day long. Who gives a fuck?
They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, they get it all right.
Elon, and he was talking to Sean Hannity?
Right.
Okay. Well, sure, that makes sense.
Well, that's what I said. It's Donald Trump saying that, other than you or somebody, like I said, these people bow down to him. They give him these softball questions. They set up this interview. This is all conducted by Elon Musk, who he already said, Elon called me and said, they're trying to drive us apart, right? And we want to make sure that we're on the same page, that you still understand that I'm in control of this thing. It's all a ruse. And Sean Hannity buys into whatever those two tell him, because Sean Hannity's the weakest of the 3.
Didn't he call him I forgot.
No, that was Tucker Carlson.
Oh, I thought Sean Hannity said something.
No, Sean Hannity is somebody that literally will do anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything for Donald Trump. Yeah. So no, that was Tucker Carlson that bombed him. But I see Angel joining us. I also saw on Instagram Baja Gold. Baja, thank you for joining us. I love Baja. I had a big crush on Baja. I shouldn't say that in high school, but she's watching on Instagram, and I appreciate you watching if you're still there, Baja. But here's another disgusting clip, by the way, Lana. With this interview that I will not be watching, and I'm sure you're not going to be watching, but I saw a couple of the clips. Very strange. But here is Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Sean Hannity. And this is a clip of Sean Hannity.
Don't play a threesome. I don't want to see a threesome.
I know this is something close. Actually, you know what? Just close your eyes and listen to the words. But this is Sean Hannity saying, the left used to love you, Elon. What happened? And by the way, I don't ever remember loving. Do you? Did you ever say, I love Elon Musk?
Literally, when he bought Twitter, people were running and left, remember? When Jack
even before that, because Elon Musk has been around for decades now. I have never remembered going, I love this guy, Elon Musk. I never was a fan of his. I read into him early on about what a scam artist he was.
Exactly. He's like a byproduct of apartheid. What are we talking about? Right? Why?
But this is more made up bullshit that they all get, in the same room and, whatever it is they do with each other. But it's gross. And here is Elon's response to the left used to love me.
Liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left,
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these
He
days.
killed that, huh?
Laugh it up, guys.
I really didn't.
Hilarious.
I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner. And it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained
Not a true
like
story.
methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow.
I know, he
What
said-
is wrong? Like, guys, like you just can't have like a normal conversation.
By the way,
And it's
watch
like-
Elon
before,
being
after
weird here.
mentioning
Just look at
president's name.
Donald Trump's
And
reaction.
it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong?
Trump
Guys, like
wants
you just
nothing
can't have,
to
like,
do
normal
with this guy.
conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
First of all, like I said about Elon, I've asked this question numerous times. We're in a government that says climate change is a hoax. He makes cars that combat climate change. He's in charge of getting rid of government spending. If the government that he works for says climate change is a hoax, then wouldn't it stand to reason that we need to eliminate the spending towards those particular vehicles that help climate change? That makes sense, right?
Exactly. What? There's no waste there?
Right. It's obviously waste to our government because our government pulled out of the Paris Agreement
Exactly.
and said that we do not believe in climate change. Donald Trump is on record of calling it a hoax. So I believe because of the government's stance on climate change that we should stop any and all funding towards any electric vehicles because that helps combat climate change. And quite frankly, Lana, I don't know about you. I don't give a flying fuck about going to Mars. So we can go ahead and cut the funding to SpaceX as well.
Exactly. Like it's ridiculous. But MAGA would just what you just said was very reasonable. But they don't get the hypocrisy. Like it's either over their head or they just don't fucking care. Like it's so Trump likes him, so you like him too. It's just like fucking guy is laughing while he's firing fucking veterans. Like how is this okay? How is that okay?
Well, it's certainly not. But I also think there's a part of it too that I don't know. There are, it's a really more of a man thing than it really is a woman thing. And you would think it would be more of a woman thing if you just look at the what's the word I'm looking for? The stereotypes. But it's these guys that look at other men who are powerful and are billionaires and they somehow fall in love with them. I'm not talking about in a sexual way, but just a weird way of they must be right about everything because they make this money and they have the power. So I am now mesmerized by these men and listen to every word that they have to say and just agree with everything that they say, and everything that they do must be right because these are strong, powerful men who know better than all of us. And obviously, if you just had half a brain, you would know that they're scamming all of you.
Facts.
Fuck.
I mean, they tell us that they're scamming us. They're not hiding the scam.
No.
Like, who would fire people in the Consumer Protections Agency if they cared about protecting consumers? Like, it doesn't make sense.
That's one that I will never understand. There's a couple things I'll never understand, Lana. One is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is something they're celebrating getting rid of when it costs, what did I see? 800 million, I think it was, that it cost the CFPB, but they save Americans over $220 billion that agency has saved Americans, people like me, you, and the people who voted for Donald Trump.
It's like you're cheering for predatory lending. You're like, sure, we're about to get predatory lending. Yeah, overdraft fees. Oh my God, I hope they raise them to $50. I can't wait. Like, these people have lost their minds. Like, it's so fucking stupid because it was Democrats. You call them elitists, but you stupid motherfuckers are cheering for banks and corporations?
It is beyond comprehension. And Lana, right before I came on, the second thing I was going to say, and there's probably more than just the two I'm going to say, but the second thing is that we literally have people in this country right now defending Russia and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
That is something I will, as a 53-year-old who's been in this country my entire life, even as a kid, you kind of knew Russia's not our friend. And then you grow older and you see a guy like Vladimir Putin. Not only is he not our friend, you know that he hates us. He literally hates us in this country. But we have people who are being suckered into bowing down and defending Vladimir Putin in this country.
Thinking Trump is tough on Putin is just, how can you think that? Like,
insane.
Trump is calling him his friend. You don't hear Putin saying those kind of words. Like, he just doesn't. And I heard someone say today, why the fuck is America giving Russia so many concessions? Why is America going, okay, we'll take away the what the fuck do they have on them? The what are they always putting on Russia?
Sanctions.
Yeah, right. We'll take the sanctions off.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you whatever you want in Ukraine. We will, like, all of this shit. It's like they're bending over backwards to please Putin, and you never want. Russia's not offering America nothing, and they can't offer us anything because what the fuck does Russia have?
And we are going to the negotiation table without the Ukraine. That is in fucking sane. And anybody, literally anybody that buys into this and thinks that that is a good idea, I am asking you, never vote again, ever. Don't even think about talking politics. Don't vote. Don't even be in this country. Fucking move. If you believe that Vladimir Putin, Russia, and us negotiating with Vladimir Putin without the other country that they invaded for no fucking reason whatsoever, and you're now telling us that they need to do their part and not, they're defending themselves. That's it. This is kind of like if your neighbor just breaks into your house and continues to live there every day, and then you call the police and the police go, you know, I don't understand why you're not letting them live here.
Or like if Putin came here, if Putin fucking came here and just said, I'm taking Dallas, Texas.
Right.
What are we going to say? Yes?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense, but that is what you want Ukraine to do. And for those of you who don't know who Putin is, he's like ex-KGB.
Right.
Spy. He's a murderer. He's a killer. Russia does not have a democracy. Those people do not watch anything on TV that Putin does not allow. Right. Those people, if you run against Putin in an election, expect to die or go to jail because he does not allow that to happen. You cannot speak bad. There is no freedom of speech. None of that happens in Russia. It is a total dictatorship. He controls their Wi-Fi, what you put in the bank, what you feed your kids. He controls all of that.
And they all think he's a hero because he tells them that he's their hero. But do you remember the all-female band, that Pussy Riot?
Yes.
They were singing bad songs against Russia and Vladimir Putin. And what happened to them? They got locked up and thrown in jail. I mean, that's what happens over there. And that's where we are heading over here. And the funny part is that they have controlled the minds of a lot of the MAGA idiots that think it's going to be awesome if Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or Barack Obama or even Tom Hanks, for some strange reason, one of an American icon, they want to lock up and throw in jail. Anybody that says anything bad about Elon and Donald Trump, they want bad things to happen to them.
It's just so fucking stupid. And again, just to stay on the Russia, because there are people like, well, we're giving all this money to Ukraine. And it's like, you don't understand why Europe is so worried about this. It's because Ukraine is the one who's fighting for all of Europe. Because once you give Putin Ukraine, any part of Ukraine, he's going into Poland. He's going to keep going on and on. He has said as much. He needs to rebuild his army and steal little boys, right? So they can grow up in Russia and he can reprogram them and have them fight in his army, because that's what he's been doing with the Ukrainian children, stealing them and taking them to Russia. And like reprogramming them. Y'all don't see this shit. If Putin can get through Europe, you think he's gonna stop and be like, oh, America's my friend? That's not how this fucking shit works. And y'all, MAGA is like, they're beyond stupid. Like, it's just not even, words can't explain how fucking stupid they are. And we listened to that idiot on Twitter get upset with you because I said that Trump picked the right party to manipulate.
No question about it. And there's one other point to that, Lana, is that what Vladimir Putin would do is now he's going to start invading countries that are part of NATO. Now we have to get involved in it, although this administration probably would let Vladimir Putin do his thing, even with our own allies, which is fucking disgusting. And I see Baby Juggernaut talking about USAID, which is another program, and we're going to get into that just next year. But this is another program that has spread goodwill across the world. And part of that goodwill helps us with our national security. A lot of people just don't understand this. They just hear Elon Musk told me USAID is billions of dollars are being wasted and they're corrupt. So now I believe it. And then you ask them, give me specifics. And they can give you no fucking specifics other than what fucking Elon Musk.
Condoms are going to Gaza to make bombs. Like,
so that leads us to our next topic here, Lana. There's this, and I apologize for having to play this nonsense, but this guy, Stephen Miller, is one of the worst human beings on the planet. He was on CNN today, and he was talking about celebrating all the cuts that Elon Musk is finding. And why is everybody else not celebrating this? And why are you not doing this? This is him and his exchange on CNN with, oh, shoot, what's her name? We'll figure it out when we get back.
Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted? Every day that no action is taken, the entire salaries of American workers that are taxed disappear forever.
Stephen, let's calm down.
This is not...
We're not having a debate.
There's no reason
about whether there are places...
You are clearly trying to debate me, and I will be as excited as I want to be about the fact that we are saving Americans billions of dollars, that we are ending the theft and waste and grift and corruption, that we are stopping American taxpayer dollars from subsidizing a rogue federal bureaucracy that has been relentlessly weaponized against the American people.
Okay.
Yeah, the waste, grift, and corruption is coming from them.
From the motherfucker that spent $8 million to drive around a fucking Daytona course. Stop.
Correct. $30 million to go to the Super Bowl. Another $8 million. I literally, Lana, I was on the TikTok live today, and somebody said that was one of the strongest things they've ever seen. I said, wait a minute. What? Do you realize Donald Trump, first of all, wasn't driving? You know that, right? He was sitting in the back seat of a car And somebody literally said that that was just so strong and so awesome. I was like, you people, this is why I call you losers and flying monkeys, because I don't want to say mean, awful things about you. But when you sit there and tell me that because a guy wasted our money to sit in the back seat of a limo while a guy drove around a track makes him a strong person, you're a fucking loser. You're a loser. And I tell you that not to insult you. I tell you that so you get the help that you need. I know your family has probably said to you numerous times, please just go see this therapist. Please, I'm begging you. And maybe if other people outside of the family tell him that he's a loser, then maybe he'll get the help that he needs. That's all. I'm doing it as a service, Lana.
These dudes have no idea what the fuck a man is. Like if they're
they don't.
If they're looking at that wimpy motherfucker and that fucking Steve Miller right there, who I kept envisioning like an anvil on a cartoon, like fucking coming down on his head.
Right.
If that's a strong guy, something's fucking wrong with you. It's like when you have to yell to try to prove your point. No, they're swindlers, right? I will give them that. They're good at grifting and being swindlers and knowing how to talk to MAGA so that you guys believe them. But these motherfuckers are weak because people who want to deny history, people who can't stand a book called Freckle Fucking Face
Right.
because it teaches little kids to be strong.
That's
like
Julianne Moore's book, right?
Exactly. Dudes like that, you're saying who ban books and fucking libraries. That wow, you stuck it to the libs. You strong. Y'all are a bunch of impotent motherfuckers. Y'all couldn't find your dicks if you had a magnifying glass.
I mean, that to me is truer words could not have been spoken. And that really, at the end of the day, Lana asked, you're not a man, because that's my response now to any one of these fucking morons that ask me what is a woman. I always tell them, look, let's skip the woman part. You guys need to explain to me what a man is, because you guys bow down to these men who bow down to other men, and you are all so pathetic. You're all fucking losers. But this was a clip last night, Lana, from 60 Minutes, and they did a really good piece, and they were asking somebody who studied the USAID, and he made it clear that not only is the USAID a great program, but it is one of the most accountable, if not the most accountable program in America right now.
Said, quote, billions of dollars have been stolen. The whole thing is a fraud.
It's utter nonsense. The most accountable aid agency in the world is USAID. I've written actually widely on this subject. 40% of the staff are accountants and lawyers and people trying to make sure no money is stolen. We've created systems to monitor that. What they did was they went back 20 years to try to find things. If you have to go back 20 years to find abuse, that means there isn't that much abuse.
USAID's spending in 2023 was $38 billion. That's less than 1% of the federal budget. Natsios told us there is waste and occasional fraud like any big agency. Think of the Pentagon. But the money, he says, is watched by officials, including those in the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget.
The question is, why did the Congress approve all these contracts and grants and programs all these years? Why did OMB approve them? Why did the State Department, the F office controls all foreign aid spending. Every line item in the USAID budget is approved by 3 different bodies, the F office, OMB, and the Congressional Oversight Committees, of which there are 4. No one caught all these horrible abuses? That's just not believable.
Doge arrived at USAID January 27th, and that same day, USAID's top 58 managers were given 45 minutes to get out. The 58 senior managers, how would you describe them?
They're the best professionals I've had the privilege to work with or work under. Their integrity is without question. I think to a person, they believe in the mission of USAID and they believe in the ideals of public service.
Yeah, Lana, watching that is heartbreaking because these are real people with real jobs who have done a service for this country for decades. And now we have to involve ourselves in this insane nonsense with people who do not have the best interest of the country or the people who live in this country. They have the biggest and best interest for themselves. And unfortunately, you have these people who have to come on to 60 Minutes and go, man, this is just not right. This is bad.
I'm happy that they're speaking out, right? Like sometimes you won't even get that part, but I'm happy that they are speaking out. And it's pretty pathetic too, because at the end of the day, of course, we know that this is not for abuse and fraud, that's not what they're looking for. But what they are doing is trying to do stunts and shows, right? Like this is all about you seeing the big firing. We're going to keep doing this. So every day, all the news is talking about it, whether it's good or it's bad. It looks like this administration is moving. There's something churning. Like that's all they want to do. It's just with the deportations, right? So they got to amp up this firing because you don't hear enough about the deportations right now, right? Because they're not even releasing the numbers because they're not meeting the targets that they thought that they were going to be meeting, right? And that's why they're putting out that ad buy. Did you see that? Fucking $8 million on 2 ads that what the fuck's that? Bondi or whatever her name's going to be.
Pam Bondi.
Right. And having that stupid video with them catching, all the brown people and there's the fentanyl and, the propaganda video so that they can put that back into the news again, too. And that's just really what they do. Fucking stunts and shows. I really think by winter, as it starts to get warmer and warmer, we're going to see more and more people protest, be out in front of, because they're already out in front of, like it's cold and they were out in New York protesting. I just think there's going to be so many more people as it starts to get a little warmer and it's, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday it was President's Day, by the way. So I wished Elon Musk happy President's Day. But you're right. There were thousands. There were thousands rallied against President. Well, it says Trump here, but I think they misspelled Musk in D.C. and across the U.S. on Monday to protest policies, including his administration efforts to make sweeping cuts to government agencies and to push deport undocumented immigrants. In fact, there is an actual movement, the 50-51 movement. It's a grassroots effort that calls for 50 protests in 50 states and also features signs protesting President Musk, the billionaire face of Doge. So I agree with you. There's going to be protests, which are going to be great. But at the end of the day, protests aren't going to just cut it. That's not just protests. It's going to have to be an effort from all people. And it's going to have to take an effort from not just people like me and you and Baby Juggernaut and Angel and DA. Oh, DA's here. Hey, DA, it's good to join. And I'll get to your comment in a minute because I want to read your comment. But it's going to take an effort of all of us. And it's going to take an effort of people on that other side who are either real Republicans who are not buying into this or the Trump voter who are realizing that, damn it, I made a fucking mistake. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine today. She grew up in a very Christian household. Her father is a pastor and he's one of these big Trump guys. And the other day he admitted to his son that I think I may have made a mistake this time, which my friend told me today. She said, you don't understand how big that is. That's a big, big deal. But before I get to the comments here, I want to play one last clip. This is Jared Moskowitz, who is part of the Doge caucus. And he was on CNN. What's her name? Keeler? Do you know? Do you have any idea? I don't
watch CNN.
I know. I don't either. I know her last name is Keeler, and it starts with a B. I want to say her first name starts with a B. So if anybody knows, put it in the comments. But this is Jared Moskowitz. He's part of the Doge caucus, and he is giving everybody the information exactly of what Doge is doing.
is the Doge committee that Elon is leading in the executive, and then there's the Doge caucus, which is what I'm a member of in Congress. And I joined that because we were told that this is where the discussion is going to happen. That being said, there's been no discussion. Elon's been doing it all himself. We've had meetings, it's been bipartisan, we've had good discussions, but it doesn't seem like the caucus is included on, what Doge is finding. We were told Elon's going to audit it and make recommendations to Congress. So look, I'm going to stay for now. But at some point in time, the caucus may just be irrelevant because Congress is not being included, even though it's our constitutional duty to either fund or cut these programs.
You're a member of the Doge caucus, as you clarified. Are you getting any information about what they're doing, what systems they're targeting, the conflict of interest concerns here with Elon Musk and eliminating some of these agencies such as the Consumer Protection Bureau, Financial Protection Bureau? I mean, are you getting any information as a member of Congress?
No, we're finding out like you via tweets.
From reporters. And
yeah, we're exactly right. And so, no, it doesn't appear to be any communication between what Elon is doing and the caucus. It seems that Congress is behind and being left out, considering this is our function. Again,
these are the people who keep talking about transparency, Lana. Elon Musk is talking about transparency, and you literally have somebody who is on the Doge caucus who's being told, we're finding out the same way you're finding out, and it's through the news. And to me, again, that's why I don't want to hear from these fucking people, is that they are always talking about Elon Musk is doing this, he's doing that, he's saving America, and Elon Musk is talking about transparency, and we're going to tell people the truth, and we're going to do this, but it's clearly not the case.
I mean, because we know, like, there's never going to be, they're going around talking about all it takes is one person to lie, right? Now the big lie is, we got to go into the Social Security because they're paying, people who are 150 to 220 years old, and that can't be, and they're still getting checks. That is not true, right? But that's the thing that the MAGA is saying. They're still on the payrolls, right? And that happens with a lot of these systems. People don't fall off, and that is a problem. But those people aren't getting millions of dollars in checks. People get, there were people that they found were overpaid, right? And we know that because the special inspectors report, right? Because they're special inspectors have done reports. There have been 2. So why fire those special inspectors? Why not keep them there, have them continue their investigations and do another report? Because you know what we're not going to get? A report from Elon. We're going to get him and his kid in front of the resolution desk, his kid putting boogies on there, and Musk just saying whatever the fuck he wants, pulling numbers out of a hat. That's not proof. That's not citing sources. That's not evidence. He comes with no papers. There's no fucking paperwork. He comes to these stupid pressers and he doesn't even show a piece of fucking paper that has a list of people that he can read off and say, these people are still being paid. He doesn't even do that.
No, you're right. I mean, there's zero transparency. They just come up, they say whatever it is that they want to. I was going to make a point earlier. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at right now. And it's disappointing. And hopefully we have enough people that are going to see through this and eventually step up, because this is a little different than the last Trump presidency. This is involving Elon Musk, and he's not a popular dude. He just isn't. He's not popular.
Can you address Tom's question? Tom.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the comments here.
He's gonna leave. So
I'm gonna. All right.
He said he was popping in, but I wanted you to address before he.
This is Tommy K. Hey, Tom. I know Tom. Hey, Ron and Lana, stopping in to say hi, showing my support for the show, even though I disagree. I don't know why you disagree at this point, Tom. I like to see different viewpoints as always. And then he is responding to, okay, so DA says, what did he agree with? And I want to get to DA's earlier comments too, but Tom says, I disagree with government being the solution to the world's problems. It doesn't make sense to borrow money to give others. Well, first of all, Tom, here's the thing. We're the most powerful country in the world. And in a lot of this country, I hear a lot about Christianity, and I hear about Jesus, and I hear about all these things about how Christianity is a giving religion, that Jesus was somebody that gave to all different kinds of people, that he was the one that wanted to protect other people. I'm trying to equate this best I can. The United States is Jesus for the world. And we are the ones that have all the power. We are the ones that we could take down any country if we really wanted to be assholes. And unfortunately, the asshole take at this point is, why the fuck do we care about them? We should only care about us. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can care about other countries and we can care about other people, and we can also take care of ourselves. However, you want to vote for a government that wants to give more money and make sure the billionaires make more and more money, rather than saying, okay, let's stop cutting the corporate tax rate now from 24% down to 15% and give them more money in their pocket, instead of saying, let's spread this out between the American people and the people who truly need it. Because I'm going to let Lana speak on this as well, but I have a heart for all kinds of people and all other people, people who cannot defend themselves, people who have a life that you, Lana, even DA and Tom, none of us can comprehend. Now, I can tell you DA and Lana can tell us about some things that you and I can't comprehend. But us four, as far as other countries and how horrifically awful they have it, to me, if we can help them in any fucking way, I'm in. And I'm okay to pay a little bit more of my tax dollars to do that. And I am out on giving my tax dollars to multi-billionaires so they can make sure their grandkids are fine. Lana, do you like to add to that?
Yeah, because the other part is America's always not thinking with their heart. America is big with colonizing and getting what they can get, right? Trump wants to get what he can get from these countries, and he doesn't want to help, right? So, because we just talked about this, even with USAID, yes, we are giving aid to other countries and a lot of things. We help people here too with that aid. So don't get it twisted, Tom, right? A lot of these farmers depended on the aid. American farmers are being hurt right now because that aid is stopped. But we also do that aid because it helps us. So if we're controlling polio or measles or tuberculosis or the spread of HIV in other countries, if we're helping them quell that, that means that it can't come over here. So that means we are helping ourselves when we help them, because the last thing we need is the continent of Africa to be taken over by HIV, because guess what? It'll end up here if that happens. So it costs nothing. The medications are like $12 per person when you add it all up for giving them aid. It's nothing. Even with the people on the ground that's delivering the aid to these different countries, that is how we get intel. That is how we get information on what those other countries are doing, what the terrorists are doing, what the sneaker cells are doing. That's what's going on. So like, we're getting something in return. We're not just giving them money and be like, okay, we're getting it. That's not how that works. Like, you really have to read a little more, Tom, and it seems like you're a little open to it. So just open and expand your mind. Just like giving money to Ukraine, just giving money to Ukraine. We're not giving them a blank check. We're not giving them money. When money is allocated to Ukraine, we say if it's $50 billion going to Ukraine defense, we use the $50 billion here in America to make the weapons to send to Ukraine. So in fact, we're paying ourselves. Like, Come on, Tom.
No, I mean, and let me tell you something. First of all, Tom's a good guy. His brother was one of my best friends, and he passed away sadly. Gosh, it was like 12 years ago, and he's a phenomenal guy, and Tom's a great guy too. Tom, and the funny thing is, Tom is part of the Asian community. And again, that bothers me too, that we have a president who targeted your community over this pandemic. To me is disgusting. I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. But Tom, you and I can maybe talk offline at some point. I would like to talk to you again because it's been a while since I talked to you and seen you. And I loved your brother, man. I miss him every single day. He was my Miami Hurricane, road dog. So I miss you. I miss you, Tony. But anyway, we'll go back. I want to catch up on some of these comments.
Sorry for interrupting you, but
no.
Said he wanted to leave.
This is DA, and thank you, DA, for joining. I appreciate you, and I like his tweets too. DA's got some good tweets, but
don't tell him that.
No, I am. It's too late. Well, you can't do it now. It's, what am I going to do? They aren't good if it's apparent they are doing it. I'm sorry. Some of these comments are going to be something based on something we said earlier that I might be lost in the comments. Lana, you said what I've been thinking about today's man. Yeah, there's a lot of pussy ass dudes out there right now that I don't understand the mentality. I will never understand. I don't have a problem with showing admiration or respect to another dude for something that they've done, but my God, to bow down to everything they say and do is just fucking weird, son. MAGA are nothing more than an orgy without the penetration. That I understand. Forget about the context. What we were talking about. Baby Juggernaut says children will starve. 25 summer of protest. Yes. And then we read that one. And then DA finally, last couple ones says, that's a naive worldview. The U.S. government doesn't borrow money to give to others. The United States borrows money to protect its own interests. There's absolutely no question about it. And, there is a part of it where there are people in government. There's this thing too where we want to villainize every single person in government. There are a lot of people who get into this for the right reasons, and they want to be helpful and they want to do the right thing. And there is something to be said about that. Tom says, I'm not a Republican, by the way. I would say I'm more libertarian, but yes, let's talk. Thank you, Ron. All right, Tom, good hearing from you, and we will definitely talk. And then DA says the Tom Brady of Twitter is recognized by Brian, but not Rosa, the hater. Wait, who's the Tom Brady of Twitter? You. Are you talking about you?
No, he's talking about himself.
You. I gotcha.
That's why I said don't say he has good tweets, because he thinks that he's the Tom Brady of Twitter.
DA, I apologize for not understanding your reference right away. Now I get it. And listen, that's a battle I don't want to get in between right now. That's another one we might take offline. But anyway, Lana, we were talking about, so the right has perfected this disinformation campaign, perfected it. And I have brought up on the show, even before the election was over, that the left better start learning how to form their own mini cult and stop this nonsense of putting down their own. I'm over that. We're done. I get it. You're intelligent. You're smart. You think it's noble that you're going to point out what's wrong with us. But they have perfected the side of saying, we are 100% going to say everything we do is right and everything that they do is wrong. And we're going to pound it into their fucking heads until enough stupid people hear it and then side with us, and then go around to comment sections, go around to TikTok lives, go around to message boards, and spread our message to them that they suck, We rule. And Jesse Waters basically said as much last night. I believe this was on the 5, where he literally told you the strategy to your face, the same strategy that Steve Bannon has been saying for years about flooding the zone with shit and confusing people. They literally tell you the game plan and you still buy into it. But these comments from Jesse Waters were very interesting. And I agree with 98% of what he just said until the very end where he got off track. But listen to this, Lana. Tell me what you think.
The same. Dana, we are waging a 21st century information warfare campaign against the left, and they are using tactics from the 1990s. They are holding tiny press conferences, tiny little rallies. They're screaming into the ether on MSNBC. This is what you call top-down command and control. You get your talking points from a newspaper, and you put it on the broadcast network, and then it disappears. What you're seeing on the right is asymmetrical. It's like grassroots guerrilla warfare. Someone says something on social media, Musk retweets it, Rogan podcasts it, Fox broadcasts it, and by the time it reaches everybody, millions of people have seen it. It's free money. And we're actually talking about expressing information. They are suppressing information. If you
Well, that's the nonsense that he ends with, but everything he said prior to that was dead on. And they tell you, this is what they do, this is what we do, and this is why we are winning.
Right. But we can't control that, right? Like that's something that Trump has paid for, all of that, right? Like he owns Fox, he has Newsmax, Elon owns Twitter. Like, so that's Democrats will never be able to compete with that. Like unless we find like the alternative, like
well, that's the point, Lana. That's the point.
But my point is, we all yell at them now, right? Like, damns on them, right? Trump's only been president for 29 fucking days. Like, for seriously, we just got our DNC chair. Like, give it a moment to find the stepping and the ground, because what we do is start blaming each other. We're reaching back and blaming Kamala, right? Like Carville did a whole thing, like she's a 7th string quarterback, like just all of the nonsense. And it's like, fucking relax, because honestly, to me, fuck them. It's us. We didn't do what we were supposed to do, and we keep fucking looking to lawmakers to do, save us, and we didn't fucking save ourselves. Why are we screaming at them to save us when we gave them no fucking weapons? We didn't give them the Senate. We didn't give them the Congress. What the fuck do you want them to do? It's like they're pissed at Kamala because she's going to see a fucking play. Like she wants to take a beat and just enjoy herself for a fucking minute after running ragged, trying to save fucking this ungrateful America. And we're still ungrateful. Like literally, we are still ungrateful. Like we can't have it all of the ways. And I feel like we want it all of the ways. We need them to do this. We need them to protest. We also need them to go in front of these buildings. We also need them to try to get in here. We also need them to go over here and go on stage. We also need someone to be screaming. Like, shut up. Like, just hold, right? Let them get it together, because this is not an easy beast to beat right now. Like, it's just, no one has all the answers, and I feel like we all act like we have the answer, and that shit is annoying to me as fuck. And I will go on and on, so you have to stop me, because I swear to God, if another Democrat blames Kamala for this fucking loss, or starts complaining about cheating and Democrats not investigating, I will choke somebody out, because it's insanity at this point. Fucking move on and get this shit together. 2025 is coming, but go ahead. Sorry.
Well,
take the show back.
I won't cut off Lana Quest because I know better. There's been a few times I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Let Lana talk. What are you, fucking insane?
Sorry.
But here's I get what you're saying.
No, Pete should go on Fox. They absolutely should.
No,
go
they
on
will.
Fox.
And this is my whole point. And this is where I say I agree with Jesse Waters. And they're basically telling you this is what we're doing. The only thing he didn't tell you at the end is that we have no shame in lying to these people. We have zero shame, and we have an apparatus that you cannot beat. And that is the biggest fucking problem. There is no media where there is a Jesse Waters who will go on his primetime show and tell everybody that the Republicans are doing things. As I said earlier, we need to form our own mini cult. The difference between our cult and their cult is our shit's fucking true. He tried to say at the end that his was the one that was giving information and we're trying to suppress information. The Democrats aren't suppressing information. They don't have the apparatus. And I'm not saying it's up to the Democrats to build that, because that will never exist. They don't have it in them to lie to the American people blatantly without shame to get people to come to their side. Now, they can use language to try to do their best to pick off the people who are non-MAGA and who are not brainwashed by these fucking morons like Jesse Waters and them. But the problem is we've talked about this a million times. The Democrats did not lose because Kamala Harris was a bad candidate. The Democrats didn't lose because it was a bad campaign. They didn't lose because they're bad at messaging. They lost this election for one main reason only. And that is this right-wing propaganda with zero shame, who knows how to get their message out to low-educated voters, the ones who are never involved in politics before, but now they're involved in it because they hear everybody talking about it and they know they have to. So what side's easier to understand? The policy wonks who talk about policy and the nerd shit? Or is it easier to understand the Jerry Springer side that talks about fucking Hannibal Lecter and boats and sharks? That's the ones that they fucking target. And they got enough of them. Also, the Joe Rogan crowd that listens to him all day and thinks that he's the smart one because he sits there and has an intellectual conversation, according to them, with some douchebag from the UFC who's got his hoodie up and sunglasses on. That's what these people fall for. That's why the Democrats lost. But Lana, you and I've said this a billion fucking times. The one thing the Democrats could have done a little bit better. They were never going to form that same apparatus that the right had. But the one thing that they could have done better is march directly to these fuckers, right onto their shows, right onto their broadcasts, and cut that fucking snake's head off right at the fucking head and said, you are not going to create the narrative about us anymore. We're going to let you know how you're bullshitting and you're lying, and this is not who we are.
All the time. Jasmine needs to get on there. Like, I don't know what she's waiting for, because she really should get on there, because
she will. You know what, Alana, though? I don't know. Will they have her on?
And that is the other piece to this, right? Because we do say they need to get on there. You can't just get on there.
Right.
They may know that there's a risk of having certain people on there and won't let them come on there because they don't want people to hear what they have to say.
But Lana, that's the strategy. I've said this a million times. If they don't let you on, you expose the emails from them that they had. Listen, I've sent 5 emails. I sent 10 emails. They didn't respond, or here's how they responded. You call these fuckers out constantly and say, you don't want to meet me at your place? All right, then come to my place. How about I'll start a podcast for 1 week and you come on my podcast and we'll discuss it. And then call these fuckers out constantly by name, like Jasmine Crockett does with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, right to their fucking faces, because she's not afraid of them. She has she can't be held back on what she feels passionately about, and she knows she's right about. And we need more people like that, and we need to stop. I've said this a billion times. I love Jon Stewart, but if I hear Jon Stewart one more fucking time tell me how the Democrats are wrong, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't even want to watch him anymore. It's fucking pissing me off.
What's
And these
wrong with you?
people don't understand the game. And until they start understanding the game, they're going to lose constantly. So I don't want to hear on their shows about how Donald Trump is a danger, but you're still contributing to them and you're losing the game. But Lana, this is what they do. I want to play this clip. This is John Roberts. And these are the kind of messages that they get across to their people, that Elon Musk investigating with his Doge. Do you really think Elon Musk wants your money? This is the kind of language.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying today.
He was running PayPal.
Right. And also,
and if you're going to trust anybody who's rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, wouldn't you want it to be a guy who really doesn't need your money?
right. And also, does anyone actually think that Elon Musk is sitting in the West Wing right now going
I want to point out one thing real quick, Lana. This woman's a fucking dummy. There's a strategy behind this too. Do you notice Fox News has all really hot blonde women?
Oh, absolutely.
They do this as a strategy because dudes are fucked up in the head. You see a hot blonde and you're going to listen.
Yeah,
listen.
Before I came on here, that exact thing that he just said about Elon Musk owning PayPal and not wanting, I have a tweet, a reply to one of my things with someone who said that exact thing. They're like,
because they just listened to John Roberts and they go on your tweets, they go on DA's tweets, they come on my TikTok lives, they come on our comment section and just regurgitate. Exactly. I've been getting this clip of this lady on the Gutfeld show comparing a man cheating on a woman and the woman going through the phone, and you're more mad about the going through the phone than the actual cheating part. They were equating that with Elon Musk going through Doge and exposing. And I've heard more people say this now because it's going around in the magosphere as this is some great analogy and some great point. But let's let them finish up with their bullshit.
through people's, tax returns? Give me a break. It's people who are appointed by the president within the agencies to conduct audits, to do their jobs, and people entrust.
Actually, I'm done with her because she's, again, these are dumb idiots. And that woman is stupid. And the difference is she's hot. There's no question. But
yeah, says hell no.
No, she's not. All right. Wait, let me look at her one more time. Hold on.
Private information to all kinds of people all the time. The IRS, for instance, had contracted thousands.
All right, DA, you're not convincing me. I mean, she's attractive, but the difference is I'm smart enough to know she's an idiot, and I wouldn't be interested. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not even trying to suggest that she'd be interested in me, but let's just say for some weird reason she was. I wouldn't be. All right, let's not get off track here, though. Again, we talk about the language that they use. Here is Elon Musk's assistant, Donald Trump, today talking gibberish and nonsense about what they found with Social Security. Now, Lana, I want you to listen carefully to what he says, because I guarantee you tomorrow, you and DA and everybody else is going to see this being tweeted at you. But listen to this ridiculous nonsense.
I saw the Social Security numbers. I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out. Now, the good thing about Social Security and what I read is if you take all of those numbers off, because they're obviously fraudulent or incompetent, but if you take all of those millions of people off Social Security, all of a sudden we have a very powerful Social Security.
Oh, I
with
know.
People that are 80 and 70 and 90.
Fucking idiots are going to repeat this. I know it.
Old. So it's a very positive thing. How about over here? Yeah, please.
Lana, this fucking clown just said millions and millions and millions of people were receiving Social Security. They just exposed this. And now, since we're going to cut out the millions of people in this corrupt country are no longer going to receive Social Security benefits, that we're going to save tons of money that way. Meanwhile, the people who actually do receive Social Security are going to wind up seeing lower amounts in their bank account, because that's going to be cut too. That's going to be part of the fake exposing of millions of people getting Social Security payments. This is fucking insane.
Yeah. And MAGA like, yeah, take that Social Security.
Yep.
Just take our checks. It's just like, y'all don't know what's happening right now. You don't get it? Like, how is this hard? Like, I don't understand how this is hard.
Well, it's hard because you're in. Well, first of all,
like, what the fuck?
actually, Lana, the only thing I would argue with you, you're an intelligent person. So you asking how it's hard to somebody who's a fucking moron, I don't think that's probably not fair.
But we had this conversation. It's like just a little bit of brain. If someone said to you that America was sending 500 million condoms to Gaza to make bombs, like nothing clicks to say, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Let me look this up. Hundreds of billions of dollars going to dead people. We really think the government was allowing hundreds of billions of dollars just to go out there? We really think that?
Lana, this is not something when they hear it, they go, I should investigate it. This is because they know this. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all these people know it. That's music to their ears. That is something that they fucking love. But last clip before I get to a few more comments here, we talk about some fight. And here's Eric Swalwell. He had some fight in him. This is something I like to hear, and this is something I'm going to want to hear more and more of. So let's listen to Eric.
A man, Donald Trump, because he's not a man. He's a child. He's a small child. And he views censorship as a mean to get rid of people who disagree with him. He wants to get rid of judges who disagree with him. He said that as recently as yesterday. Speaker Johnson is backing him up by suggesting that judges should just pause in interpreting his violations of the Constitution. Trump goes after his perceived political opponents. I know. When I was a part of the Russia investigation, his DOJ subpoenaed my emails and my cell phone records. He's a petty, punitive child. And I can recognize a toddler because I'm a parent of 3 of them. And I recognize the same behavior. And yes, censorship is occurring, but it's self-censorship, and it's by you all. Because I hear you in our private conversations when you agree that Trump is a child. I hear the people you tell that Trump is a child, whether it's lobbyists or reporters. But you shrink in this room, and you shrink in the chamber, and you self-censor yourselves from speaking out because you're afraid. And he's laughing at you that you take him so seriously.
Yep.
Because he's unserious. He's laughing that you think he is so powerful because he's weak. He's laughing that you think he is so big because he's quite small. So we need you. We need your voices right now. It can't just be this side. We're all in to speak up. And we need you to speak up too. Otherwise, we are all out of freedom. And I yield back.
Gentlemen.
Lana, that's part of the fight that we need more of. Calling these fuckers out. Everything's on the table. No more bullshit. Stop letting them control the narrative. What did you think of Eric Swalwell's words?
I mean, it was good. It's unfortunate that not one Republican will be like, you know what, he's right. I mean, we just watched them capitulate and friggin' say, okay, RFK Jr., I know he's an anti-vaxxer. I know there's 58 cases of measles in Texas, but hey, what are we going to do? He goes through.
Do you think it's possible? I mean, possible that maybe even some Republicans go, this is starting to become a bridge too far, because the guy we voted for, Donald Trump, does not seem to be in control of anything. I really didn't vote for Elon Musk. Was I asking you about this, Lana? I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Actually, we were talking about this the other night, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. But the saying, the enemy of our enemy is our friend. And there are some people who are not big fans of Elon Musk, and Steve Bannon is one of them. And Steve Bannon really cannot stand Elon Musk. So in this case, is the enemy of our enemy our friend? Do you approach a Steve Bannon and go, fuck it, you don't like this guy, we don't like this guy, what do we do about it together?
I don't approach racists, but I mean, that's just.
Yeah, I understand.
What are we trusting him to do? I mean, are we going to use him to get to Trump? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if you're using him, but Steve Bannon is I don't want to use the word brilliant strategist. He's a brilliant strategist, but in a very awful way. Yeah. And if somebody doesn't, because here's the thing, right now, Elon Musk, he's got to go. He's got to go. And there's got to be a way to dismiss this dude. And
it's only 29 days, Brian. Like, it's this level.
I know, but see, that's the problem is that he's gaining way too much power already. And he's going to usurp more. And that's my fear. My fear is because we've already done this. We said it's only been 29 days, but it's only been 4 years. Then it's only been 8 years. It's only been 10 years. And they've been working on this for decades. This is not something that happened overnight. They've been doing this, and it's been happening for decades. And I'm afraid that we are at a point to where it's really gonna be difficult. And I hope I'm wrong, and I may be, but I'm afraid that we're at a point where there's almost no turning back. They control the media completely. They control the government completely. They control the Supreme Court completely. How do we dig out of this? And one of my only suggestions is the enemy of our enemy is our friend. And it's somebody that you normally don't want to team up with, but I say everything's on the table. I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to work or it's something that we should 100% put our cards into, but I'm in the camp right now saying at this point, fuck it. We need all the soldiers we can get.
Steve Bannon is not going to team up with AOC.
And it's very possible you're right, but he hates Elon Musk. And I'm wondering if there's any crack in that armor that you can attack. That's the only thing I'm wondering.
I mean,
I may be wrong.
You're just trading one evil for another evil, right? Like, we're at fuck around and find out. That's not like being hyperbolic. That's just where the fuck we are. Trump didn't lie. Elon either. There is going to be pain. We are all going to suffer right now. Fuck Stephen Bannon. They can like say Stephen Bannon don't even like Elon. They can use him like that. But going to Stephen Bannon, a fucking devil, to say let's team up, he would look at us like, yeah, what the fuck ever, like I hate y'all motherfuckers, like why would I do what, right? I'm doing okay over here, like I don't, that's weak. Like
I'm not saying that he necessarily would. I'm just, for me, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy that looks at every single possibility. And I'm not saying it's our number one. I don't say it's our number two. It's our number three. I'm just saying if anything is on the table when it comes to like gun laws and stuff like that, everything should be on the table, regardless of whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it. I think just when we are in a point in this country of the utmost danger, to me, everything's on the table. And that doesn't mean you go to Steve Bannon, you let him plan everything out. But what I'm saying is that I go, hey man,
if it's not Elon in our Social Security, it would be Steve Bannon. Like it's going to get done because Project 2025 has already blessed this. This is what we're going on. This is not we're going on Elon, right? Like Elon is helping. I feel like what Project 2025 already told us. They're not doing not one thing are they doing that was not in Project 2020.
Are we beyond Project 2025 at this point, though?
I don't know. What is he doing that's not in Project 2025? Because it seems like all this firing everyone in the federal government.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's not in 2025. Project 2025 is ignoring judges' orders and then basically saying, fuck the judges. We don't give a flying fuck what they have to say. I mean, I don't see anything.
But how else were they going to do all of the things in Project 2025 if they weren't ignoring the judges?
Well, I mean, and maybe you were more enlightened about it than I was, but I really honestly never thought that we'd get to a point where a president, and you know, it doesn't surprise me by any means, not at all. But it didn't occur to me that you would have, because I said it on the show. I said, Lana, the one thing that I think that we have going for us is that Biden appointed enough federal judges to hold this stuff up in court. It never occurred to me. And I never said after that, well, they're just going to say, fuck the judge ruling. I was kind of banking on this, and maybe I'm naive, and I'm fine to admit that. But, you know, I just didn't know we would get to this point, and we're getting to a point where it's so fucking dangerous and so bad. That's the only reason why I said I'm open to any suggestion, not necessarily saying that has to be our main strategy, but I'm open to all suggestions. You know, but you know me, I always usually defer to whatever the fuck you have to say, because I told you, you're smarter than me. Hey, Steven Johnson, it's Johnstone. Do you remember Johnstone was on our TikTok the other night? Debbie Graf. That's enough.
Quest is there too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, Quest. There's Quest, Johnstone. Now they're here. I appreciate you guys coming in and saying hello. We have one last clip on it before we play, but let me see if I can catch up on some of the comments real quick. Me, MAGA, not vaccinated. Me, no, grow old. Steven Johnson, that's of course DA. Steven Johnson, accounts paid for death benefits are in the original recipient's name. And then, of course, he lets us know who it is. Let's see. Kind of like Lex Luthor. Yeah, that's who Steve Bannon is. He is kind of like Lex Luthor. And DA saying, is Lana unfamiliar with the art of war? And that's actually kind of the same thing. And that's what I am alluding to, DA. You know, so Angel says, you are right, Brian. And Quest is here. Project 2025 is a big part of the current pro-Trump mindset. 100%, you know, and Lana alluded to that. We have talked about that many times on our show. In fact, we were talking about before the election how dangerous Project 2025 was. Fuck around and find out is enter MAGA chat. That's what Johnstone says. Quest says creating a conservative government is part of that. Baby Juggernaut says we will be able to vote. Will women be able to vote next time? Jesus.
I don't even know if this is a conservative government. This is not.
That's what I'm saying. We are beyond conservative. We are beyond even Project 2025, and that's
we should be praying for a conservative government. It's like this is not.
Quest says you load the Supreme Court with horrible people, and they'll load into other stuff. And DA says that we all thought Biden's judicial appointments would be the firewall. I did. I literally did.
Yeah, but then you just go to the Supreme Court with everything. Like I don't.
Well, that's if the Supreme Court takes it, which they may. You know, and I'm sure you know they're going to. Yeah, but you know, this is also Trump-appointed judges that are holding up some of these things in court.
Yeah.
So you know that's my biggest concern. But Lana, do you want to add anything else to that before I get to the last clip?
No, you can do the last clip.
Okay. So there's a comedian, Bill Burr, now that right now has a chance to start getting, for me personally, getting into this George Carlin sort of area, because George Carlin to me, as a comedian, as a philosopher, as somebody that said some of the greatest things I've ever heard a comedian say in my life, Bill Burr is starting to go down this path. And he's saying some things that may sound outlandish to some people. But he said something recently he has a podcast. I'm going to play the clip, Lana, let you comment if you haven't heard it already. But Bill Burr is starting to get really up there with me, and I hope he continues down this path.
These f***ing billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country. And there's so much work being done, you know. And if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get a fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. Because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking, these fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed and just going out and just dividing everybody.
You know, Lana, I was curious when I heard that clip, and I want to hear your thoughts on it too. But one thing that came across my mind is that we have seen numerous stories about mass shootings, and too many of them involving children. And the only thing that I hear from people on the right are thoughts and prayers. And then when you suggest something, that's what I was saying earlier, when you see something like children being shot up, everything's on the fucking table. Every suggestion is on the table, and they do nothing about it. My question is, if there was an epidemic of billionaires getting the same treatment that these children got, would their thoughts and views and their thoughts and prayers change to, we need to do something more about this?
Oh, if they were being ticked off like that, maybe so. I mean, it would have to be them personally, because I don't even know, because remember the baseball game with the Republican,
Steve Scalise.
Scalise got shot, and these people still weren't trying to do gun reform. They still did.
In fairness, I think that was a time where it wasn't as prevalent.
Maybe a mass shooting of them. Maybe then they would. I think, you know what? You can't even say, because they're illogical. Like, they're just literally illogical. Who knows if they would do that still? I can't even say that.
You know what, Lana, though? The other thing, too, is that you know why they fight so much against these gun laws? Because they were fighting for what's happening right now, and they want their side locked and loaded for their side of the revolution that they want happening in this country. The white Christian nationalist movement that they want in this country, they wanted their people armed to the teeth. And that's why I am convinced that this is a systematic thing that has been going on for decades. And this is something that they are now getting closer and closer and closer to having happen. This is exactly why I say, fuck it. Everything is on the table. And Bill Burr is exactly right. In fact, he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and I actually laughed out loud when he said it. He went off about the billionaires, went about that, and he ended his whole rant with "Free Luigi," which was fucking hilarious. But, you know, again, Lana and I talked about it on our show. We don't want to live in a society where we have vigilantes going out and just offing people. That's not the kind of society that we want to live in. But we have people who don't give a fuck about all of us. You're a Trump supporter watching this. You're a MAGA supporter. These people are taking advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of you continuously. They're going to take advantage of your parents, your children, you, your wives, everybody you know. They're going to continue to take advantage of you, and you're going to sit there and continue to back them like they are doing you a fucking service. Wake the fuck up. I know you want to say that to us all the time, that we need to wake the fuck up. I promise you, Lana doesn't need to wake the fuck up. I promise you, DA doesn't need to wake the fuck up. I tell you, you need to wake the fuck up. Baby Juggernaut and Angel, they're woke. They understand what the fuck is happening. But you guys are going to continue to be taken advantage of, and it's by the multi-billionaires. If you are not fighting to get money out of politics. You are fighting for the wrong fucking side. Lana?
No, totally, totally agree. The thing about, you're right. I think they do want to arm the MAGA up to the hill because we're, getting ready for the Civil War. Stupid, because MAGA is not the only people with guns. Like, that's just stupid. It's stupid to even think that. But you got the puppet and control masters. But I will say this: people out there listening, keep talking to people that you think are malleable, who are not cult member MAGAs, who are just low-informed voters. Like, keep educating them. Like, I talked to my girlfriend today who didn't necessarily pay attention, like real attention, but really she's locked in now, right? She's locked in. She's seeing what's going on. And I feel like a lot of people, we always say, like, everybody wake up. I think more and more people gradually are understanding, like, the more layoffs, like regular people, he's not, he doesn't know who's Republican and Democrat, where he's just laying people off. People are just getting fired. Groceries are still high. Eggs is still high. Measles is rampant. Tuberculosis is rampant. Like, we're going to have a problem. But we do have elections that will come up. Like, I still see that as, I don't know, maybe
Hope.
we can do something. Like, it is a little bit of hope. I mean, that's all we have right now. Like, that
Right.
is really what we have to be fighting for. And if enough people get upset and enough people understand and enough people get angry, maybe we can change the tide, at least get Congress. Because, again, like you said, 4 years, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen in 4 years. Putin's going to be running this place in 4 years.
Oh, he already is, but
Putin's in control now, because this is, what else are we going to do here? Like, there's really not a lot all in. This is not a lot. Even if we did go with Bannon, that don't mean shit. Then nothing's going to happen with that. Like,
no, again, it may not, but
Bannon is not a fucking billionaire. So Trump is not going to replace the billionaire who's actually funding him and his family with that guy who's still in trouble with some of the courts. So,
well, Bannon is, let's say there's an evil Batman, that is Elon Musk, and Bannon is the Joker. He's still a bad guy, but if we had an evil Batman running around and the evil Joker can beat him, I'm like, fuck it. Let's see what he can do. But
Bannon's not even on, like, that. Bannon's been shut out. Like, he's got his podcast. Where is
he is. And again, I still say he's got some influence and he's got some sway because he's been around for a long time.
Tell Rachel to put him on MSNBC. He can be on the Rachel Maddow show.
Well, I wouldn't put anybody on like a Steve Bannon until you actually sat down and you understood where he came from and you understand where I came from. But again, it's like I said, for me, it's a suggestion because I'm at the point, Lana's cooler than I am. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my fucking hair, and I can't afford to do any more of that. So I'm throwing shit out at the table.
I'm not cool. I'm mad JFK Library is closed. That shit broke my heart today. I was like, what the fuck is going on at JFK? Like, my train got to that station. I hear people like talking about the library. I'm like, what's happening?
You're still cool in the face of adversity. I fucking called Lana after the election, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a pretty difficult conversation. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I said, did you not see the election results? She's like, yeah, I saw them. What the fuck's your problem? I'm like, wait a minute, you're okay? What the fuck's happening?
What are we going to do?
No, I mean, but the way she expressed herself after that was poignant, and I understood a lot more of how she felt, because I'm still fucked up about it. And I'm not saying Lana's not bothered about it, because she is, but she was as cool as could be, as she always is. And that's why I told you earlier when the show started, that's why I get excited on Tuesdays. When I wake up, I'm like, fuck, I get to talk to Lana. So anyway, we'll finish off these comments, Lana, if you don't mind, and then we'll get the hell out of here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So we all thought Biden's judicial. Oh, we said that one already. That was DA. Okay, and then he said Bill Burr has been next level for years. I couldn't agree more. He's always been really, really good, but he is getting to a point now where he has somebody that can have that voice. Like, I thought Jon Stewart was that guy too right now, but he is irritating me a little bit. And it's so sad and so disappointing because I'm telling you, this was one guy that I could listen to.
Yeah.
And literally everything that came out of his mouth was fucking gold. It was
fought for the CHIPS Act.
Gold. Fought for the CHIPS Act.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched his Apple show, Lana, and if you haven't, you probably saw the
Is that
clips.
what it was called? Wait. What?
No, he had a show on Apple until he disagreed with Apple because Apple was like restricting him from something. So he says, fuck it, I'm not doing Apple anymore. So now he's doing podcasts. But he had a show on Apple where he would interview a lot of these Republicans. And I'm telling you, they were fucking brilliant the way he interviewed. I want to send you at least one clip if you haven't seen it because it's so good. I'm like, this guy right here, there's a lot of people who think he could actually win the presidency if he continues to be the Jon Stewart that people love. But let's, we got a long way to go. Quest, our friend Quest says, I don't want violence to lead to change, but to change the world, you don't need permission. And see, that's kind of the point. We don't, certainly not calling for it. You don't want that. But, the only time sometimes people wake the fuck up and they start to understand the pain of a community. Lana, you and DA could probably talk about this better than I can. But after the Rodney King, incident, when you saw what happened there,
George Floyd.
George Floyd, when you saw what happened there, that was not an anger so they can break into Target and steal TVs. That was an anger, just at least from my point of view. And again, I'll let Lana speak on this more than I will, but that's an anger of a systematic racism that's been happening in this country for way too long. And that's not the only time it happened. Probably is not going to be the last time it happened, but you understand it because at some point you're just so fucking angry that you've got to do something else that's beyond the norm. Lana?
Yeah, and I almost feel like that's part of why we haven't galvanized as much because it's no one central focus yet, right? So like with George Floyd, one central focus, police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone galvanized. Right now, it's like we're galvanizing for Social Security. They're in the IRS. Women are still dying, right? That hasn't stopped. Louisiana is literally trying to extradite a physician from New York to, prosecute her with murder for giving a teen, mailing birth control pill to her. The mother's already been charged, right? So, galvanize around women and, having a choice, pro-abortion. Like, where are we, right? There's so much shit to galvanize. We can't even, as a whole, get together because there's so much we're galvanizing against. Is it Elon? Or do we go to Tesla? Do we go in front of the White? Like, where are we? It's so much right now.
Well, guys, I'm reading DA's comment too, and he says, and that's the problem. No one cares unless they are directly affected. And some of the problem is that we have a community that doesn't care about George Floyd or Rodney King, but they're going to start galvanizing when their Social Security is going to be taken away, when, all the stuff, when the people who voted for Trump and part of their family is being taken away because of immigration laws, or their wife is being forced now to have a child because she went through SA. Steffi Graf, come here. What are you freaking at? Nobody's out there.
How do you know?
She's pissed. Steffi's pissed. She's galvanizing about something. I'm not exactly sure what, but Quest says hope is a powerful emotion indeed. And I hope Steffi starts to realize that there's nobody out there. maybe there is, and they're here to get
There
me
is.
after watching
Exactly.
the show. Angel says February 17th, 2025, Southwest Airlines will lay off 1,750 employees, or 15% of corporate jobs, in an unprecedented move to cut costs. February 16th, 2025, IRS will lay off thousands of probationary workers in the middle of tax season. February 15th, 2025, US CDC. And what does that say, Lana? NRL. I should put on my glasses.
Where are we at?
Lay off probationary workers under Trump job cuts.
Oh, NIH.
Oh, NIH. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, people who are trying to combat cancer, all these different things that the administration is doing. This is just out of control, nuts. Quest says, as a student of history, it takes people having hope to change everything. I was seeing this thing today where it takes, damn it, what was the number? I think it said 3.5 million people to make a serious change about something. So if you have 3.5 million people to galvanize on the same thing, that it could make change. I might be wrong on that number, Lana. I want to look that back up. But there was a really good thing. I'm going to send it to you actually later so you can watch that, because it was pretty cool. DA says, Ask MLK once said, riots are the language of the unheard. I mean, that's sometimes you have to do something outside of the norm in order for people who continue to not only take advantage of you, but they so very with evil and with the worst intentions, almost laugh at you that you can't do anything about it. I dare you to do something
Look what
about
happened in China, right? Didn't he try to go rogue? The president there, was that China? Was that China? When he would, when he tried to do, I thought it was China when the president did a martial law and all the lawmakers freaked out.
I know. I vaguely remember maybe Johnstone or Quest or the DA Angel.
And the lawmakers went crazy and they fought that shit because he wanted
Baby
martial law.
Juggernaut,
He
yeah.
tried to take over.
That I don't. South Korea. Quest just said.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. The people rose up. They
Yep.
were like, hell no.
Yeah. Sorry, Quest. We're a few seconds behind.
God,
So when you
this
put
dog is
something
so
in the chat, it's unfortunate. I think there's a delay of 15 seconds or something. So we might not be answering when you initially put something in there. So, but anyway, Lana, we're on here way longer than we normally are. Well, at least lately. We've been trying to get out of here at a decent hour, but I think we had a very, very good conversation tonight. I think we had great people in here to add to the conversation. Of course, Baby Juggernaut, Angel, DA was here tonight, which I always appreciate. Thank you for coming in, DA. It's been a while since we've seen you here. Quest and Johnstone, who we got to meet on our TikTok lives. Lana, when are you going to do your TikTok live?
I don't know. Maybe this week sometime.
When she finds time.
Gotta figure it out.
Yeah, we would love to see you go on there and do it. I certainly will sit in and watch. But also at the same time, I always ask at the fucking end like an idiot, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell and all that bullshit. If you like the show, we ask for just at least a like. A subscribe, sometimes a little bit harder, but we have been seeing more subscriptions, Lana. That's why I think TikTok Live would be good for you too, because they will come to your channel, The Quest Show, and subscribe to your show too, so we can get her some more subscribers. Lana does a phenomenal job. I love watching her show. And if I can't watch her show, which I was unable to watch it live last Thursday, you know what I did? Went back and watched the replay like any normal person would. So, Lana,
where he can fast forward.
I would say, what's that?
I said where you can skip through.
Oh, I don't skip through. I fucking rewind half the shit. What are you kidding me? So I can write it down and say, hey, I want to make sure I've got this right.
Yeah,
So I don't fuck it up. Quest says, love you guys. You are great. And please keep doing it. Love you too, Quest. And we appreciate you coming in. And again, anytime you see me or you see Lana, follow her on TikTok. If you see us on the live, always welcome to come up. John Stone came up and talked with me a little bit before I came on tonight. So Lana, I would say, do you want to land the plane? But right now, I'm not even sure I want to get on a fucking plane because it's probably the most dangerous time in the history of this country to fly.
Absolutely.
So Lana, would you like to say anything before we go?
Keep hope alive. We got this.
I think that's what we're all going to do. We had no trolls tonight, right?
No.
We had all friendlies, which I like. It makes, yeah. Well, Jesus, Lana's got like 700 billion followers, so you couldn't imagine the kind of trolls she gets on her Twitter. I'm sure most of them are Russian bots, you know, but you also have real people too. And I'm sure it's exhausting. So anyway, speaking of exhausting, it's been an hour and 45 minutes.
Yes.
Lana, I always enjoy my time with you. I enjoy my time with the people in the chat. One more time, Baby Juggernaut, Angel, DA, Quest, and John Stone. Did I miss anybody, Lana? That about cover it?
That about covered it.
Oh, and Tommy Campbell, Tommy K.
And Tommy K. That's
My
right.
buddy Tommy. Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for joining in, and join us again next Tuesday night, and join Lana on Thursday nights, by the way, on her show, The Quest Show, and subscribe. Good night, Lana.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Bye. Thank you.